All right, this is a special edition 904 Pro Show. We have a lot of the team here. It's great. Thank you all for joining me. It's Water Safety Month in the month of May, and so we decided to come into Surfside Pools and talk about pools, all thing pools, and we wanted to have a few different perspectives. So everyone knows this guy, Chad Houseman, First Time Mortgage, Terry Davis with Better Homes, joining us for the first time. Scott Shuey, Surfside Pools, first time.
Yes,
so
Scott.
First timers.
Yeah, we
Make
made
them
it.
feel welcome.
Takes a village.
So like I said, we really just want to talk about pools. There's a lot of questions going around right now. Pools are in the news with some shortages, certainly with the housing market. So Scott, we'll start with you because we can.
All right.
So one thing that we've talked about is that shortage. So I want you to tell people a little bit, just quickly, about what's happening with chlorine. I don't think a lot of people actually know what's happening right now.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess dating back to August, if COVID wasn't enough and manufacturing being down about 50% across all industries, one of the hurricanes that came through Louisiana in August of 2020 wiped out the largest facility that manufactures trichlor tabs, which is the granular half-pound tab, and it took out about 40% of the supply, and now it's taken 40% offline, and they're saying it won't be back up and running until 2022. So, wow. Mass shortage, distributors putting everyone like myself all the way to single pullers to companies 10 times our size to single-digit allocation on buckets per month. It's crazy. Not like anything we've ever seen. Liquid chlorine is still, prevalent. It's available. It's readily available. But the granular tabular form is in a world of hurt right now, and that's what all of us use on a day-to-day basis with residential pools. So.
Got it. Yeah, like you said, if COVID wasn't enough, it was one of those things where we were talking about it. We've been putting content out a lot, and it seems like now it's kind of hitting the mainstream where you're seeing some bigger publications pick it up. Yeah. So we're sharing a bunch of stuff. So if you have questions about it and so what is the one solution that I know we've been talking about?
I mean, salt systems is kind of the way to go. It was a trend, up until I guess this year, and now it's really become kind of an essential item almost. Almost all new constructions go into it. Just about every remodel we do, we push it hard. I think people think that salt system is not chlorine, and that's not true. You're just manufacturing it on site rather than getting it off site and bringing it there. So salt system, it's hooks up. They're not cheap. They're expensive, but it's basically you're paying for your chlorine in advance. An average salt cell will last you about 3 years. So you're kind of paying for 3 years worth of chlorine, so to speak, until you've got to kind of replace and go through that process again. So back in the day, we used to say it was kind of a wash, whether you want the chlorine or you want the salt system. But now, honestly, it's probably more economical long term to go with the salt system, and then you get the added benefits of less skin irritation, less irritation of the eyes, softer pool. So
yeah, kids seem to love it more too.
They do, and
how easy is it to switch?
Very easy. You just plumb it in. Yep. I mean, it's again, you got to have an electrician come out and put the power box in, and then we plumb the system into your return line. But it's a simple process. You don't even really know it's there. If you have a cleaning service, they'll add salt to it periodically. The salt's kind of what drives it. That's what goes to the cell and creates the chlorine, if you will. But it's 100% chlorine. It's not any different.
There you go. We talked about it being somewhat of a fad, and we were talking right before this of pools. I don't know if they were ever a fad in Florida, but with COVID, people being at home, working from home, homeschooling. Let's talk about it from a real estate standpoint. And I know this is something that when we were moving, my wife and I and my family were moving back to Jacksonville, it was something we talked to Dan at Better Homes about. Was do you look at a home that has a pool already? Do you put one in? So talk a little bit about it, just what you're seeing with your clients as far as is it something that's really gaining popularity?
So yes, and short answer is yes. I think in any home in Florida or in our area, a pool will always sell faster than any other listing on the market. What we're seeing now is even in a community with a pool, they still want their own pool. So before you could either live in a community with a pool or you could live in a house with a pool. Now people want both. And I think it's mostly due to the number of people that are inside a house all day now since COVID started.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree too.
Well, talk about it from a financial standpoint. I mean, what are you guys seeing from your clients?
Yeah, I mean, and Terry knows too, I mean, with the increased values across the board, I mean, if you purchased, since 2019, home values are up, probably close to 35, 36%, which is incredible. So through me, I'm purchase heavy, but we are also doing a lot of, refinances, taking cash out for debt consolidation, home improvements, a ton for home improvements based on what happened last year with the pandemic, and also taking cash out to finance a pool. So with interest rates being as low as they are, we see more and more people taking cash out to do a pool and to do that, to do the renovations, knowing what happened last year. If you're stuck at home, to be able to have pretty much everything at your fingertips and your disposal to do it. So as Terry said, we live in a neighborhood, we have a community pool, but we don't have a pool, but it really made us think when everything was shut down, do we want to have our own little, sanctuary in our backyard, which, I talked to Scott about actually this weekend, it's on, about having that opportunity to do it, to have your own space, your own creative space that you can hang out with your friends and family and your kids.
So where does the math start to work, generally speaking? I know every house, every pool is going to be different, but I know a lot of what you hear is it's about the time that you're going to be in the house. Like if you buy a house, put a pool in, move in a year, you're not going to get your money back. So where do you guys see that from all three of you? So it's kind of an open question, but where do you see that as kind of the, I guess, a baseline of the timing?
So I would more ask the question, is the value of the house? Because if I'm buying a house right now at market value as compared to above market value, I probably am going to spend less in home improvements. If I'm buying it at market value or under market value, I'd spend more in home improvements. It doesn't matter how long I'm going to stay there, because right now it doesn't look like prices are going to go down for a while. So they're just going to continue to rise. We have no inventory. So the more attractive you make your inventory, the more you're going to get out of it. But any renovation that you do should be something that you're going to be able to enjoy, because you shouldn't renovate a kitchen if you're going to only be there for a year. If that's the only reason you're renovating the kitchen is for resale value. If you're putting in a pool for your own enjoyment, that's a good reason to put in a pool whenever.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily matter how long you're going to be there in this market, because it is increasing so much.
Yeah, I agree with Terry too. I mean, especially the beaches area, Ponte Vedra, St. Johns County. I mean, even into Jacksonville, just the no inventory, and I don't see an end in sight for a little while. So if you have the equity, I would say take advantage of it, have fun with it, enjoy it. I mean, there is a wait list, as Scott will tell you, to get on the pool wait list. Yeah. We looked at that too. So, we look at it like, if you have a kid, if you have kids or family, spend the money, do what you want to do with it, because who knows when we're starting to see things open up again. But last year, everything was shut down. So right. No Disney, none of that opportunity. So to be able to have enjoyment with pretty much that was it. Right. I mean, we were playing pickleball in our driveway that was our fun. We played pickleball. That was it. So
well, like you said, I mean, things started to open up and then they shut right back down again. So you just don't know, and I think we've all had kind of a rude awakening with that. So you're mentioning the shortage. So let's talk about realistic expectations, right? Like, if you want a pool, you're not getting one. It's the start of May right now. You're not getting one by June. So
June of 2022
there you go.
would probably be a better realistic, point of view. Going back to that real quick, though, I'm actually kind of glad that you guys touched on that, because that's probably, out of every new pool consultation I go on, or even remodel, to be honest with you, because some of these remodels are getting up upwards of $50,000 to $75,000 a job. That's the first thing they always ask is, when am I going to get the value back out of this? And we always try to just sell more of the intrinsic value part of it, because, it's hard to kind of sit there and tell someone that, hey, if you spend, pools aren't cheap anymore. They're just not. I mean, the cost of everything's going up to build pools. So, you're looking at $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, $150,000 a pool these days. It's hard to tell someone, you're going to get that money back, because, you may not. Right. Unless, like you said, you hold it long term, you certainly will over time, but it's really more, I think, of an intrinsic value that's at least from our standpoint. That's how we have to sell it. We can't really sell it too much as a, oh, you're going to make your money back next week if you put this pool.
Equity builder.
Do you know,
for,
so before the pandemic, probably about a year before, a pool could only bring you up to 25% value of your property. Now it's a little bit different, and they're valuing
Almost up to 50%. It's kind of what some of the appraisals I've been seeing.
Well, it's actually the appraiser's opinion now, as opposed to a set amount. So, but again, if you're not going to enjoy it, if you're just putting it in for resale value, you're better off not putting it in and letting somebody else do it. I mean, it's like putting tile flooring in your house. It's tile flooring that you like, but it might not be what somebody else likes.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to use it and enjoy it, then it's of value.
Well, and with the flux of, and you could speak on this better, with the influx of people coming from the north, I think they just feel like they moved to Florida, a pool's associated with their home because they never had that before. So
Well, even if they did, they only used it 3 months out of the year.
Exactly.
So let's talk just a little bit about the realistic expectations. I mean, I think we've hit on price enough. Just you mentioned range a little bit, but just from a timing standpoint, I think from a new construction, and you can speak to Surfside or just generalities, but then also from a remodel, because I know that's a big thing right now. Like you said, with people stuck at home, it's like anything. You've heard all the kind of DIY projects of someone staring at a wall and going, "I hate that blue. I want it to be green." So I think that's happened with pools as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, new construction is just a different animal right now. Fortunately for us, most of our competition that was doing remodels prior to this big increase in demand for new construction kind of stopped doing them. Because it's not the same price point that you're going to get on a new pool. And honestly, a lot of times it's less headaches to build a new pool from scratch and digging a new hole rather than covering up another one or fixing someone else's issues or mistakes. So we've kind of found our niche over the last year in remodels because again, a lot of people aren't doing them, so they're coming to us. Our lead times on remodels are not too bad. We're probably about 6 to 8 weeks out on starting a job, depending on the scope. But we're not really doing a lot of structural changes on remodels right now. It's mainly just interior, tiles, and decking. And those we can typically start in about 6 to 8 weeks. And then they take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to kind of complete. Again, scope definitely dictates the lead time there and how long a project will take. But that's kind of our average. New construction, I mean, right now I think we're booked through August or into August. I forgot. I mean, I looked this morning, but on just new consultation appointments. So that's just us getting out there to meet you, greet you. I mean, obviously by then we've had some communication. We've gotten typically some ideas of what you're looking for in design. We've gotten your survey, so we're a little ahead of the game, but we're not going to quote anything until we get out there, see it, meet you, kind of know what we're working with firsthand. Then it's usually a month or two at least till we get pricing and all that negotiated out. And then permits is anyone's guess these days. I mean, I'm sure you guys can all attest to this, but anywhere from 6 weeks to 8 weeks to 10 weeks, 12 weeks, depending on the county. Clay County is a lot easier to get permits in right now than St. Johns County. So, and then from there, I'd say you're looking at a minimum to 6 months to 12 months before your pool's done and you're swimming. So, coming back to June of 2022, I think that's a very realistic time frame right now. If you were to engage with us and start saying, "Hey, I'd like a pool," we'd probably, hopefully, if all things work out well, we'll get you swimming next summer. But that's about as good as we can do.
Well, and it's not just you. I know that.
It's not us. Yeah, it doesn't do us any good to have a pool sitting there for 12 months.
Right.
We don't want that. We want you in there swimming next week if we could. But the subcontractor is even twice as crazy as the general contractor, if you will, world. It's just there's only a handful of them. They're specialized and they're booked out way beyond their means. So it's a group effort to contribute to these delays. Manufacturing, everything.
Is there a better time of the year to plan a pool than? I mean, I would assume that people are hot in the summer. They think about it in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, most people remodel business typically falls off in the summer because they've got a pool already. So they'll just put some Band-Aids on for a few months. They want to enjoy it during the summer. Typically, our remodel business takes off October, November, and goes to about March, and then it ends. But right now, we're booking into July on remodel jobs still, because it's just if they don't do it now, they're not going to get it done. So it's crazy in that regard. And then as far as new construction, I mean, it seems like everything's kind of out the window right now. It's just you get in when you get in, and you get a pool when you get a pool, and there's it is. I mean, normally it would be a fall type thing, thinking you'd be in by the summer, but
Now, if you get one, you're lucky.
yeah,
It's
there's
like the lottery.
Exactly.
So you talked about remodels, and you mentioned a few things, structural versus non-structural and things like that. But what are some of the big things that you all are seeing homeowners do with the remodels? I think people may not know, what's possible. Like if you buy a new home because, hey, it's got a pool, and then you're sitting there like, it doesn't look great. So either, you're moving in or you've had the pool for a while. What are some things that you can do to update and remodel?
Well, I'll just go real quick. I mean, the most common by far, new pool interior, maybe going to, well, you can't see it, but a pebble finish or something like that. New tile, the waterline tiles that you can see back here. Glass is very popular right now, the 1x1s and the 1x2s. That kind of gives everything a facelift.
I mean, for me, for pools, I probably get a handful of calls every week looking to tap into the equity just because there's not a lot of inventory. So yeah, I have the ability to take equity out in the form of a mortgage to finance a pool. We have those with outdoor patios. We can do all that with the home values increasing the way they have been. And as Terry said earlier, I don't personally see anytime soon that home values, especially in the beaches area into my offices downtown, I don't see the values going there. So yeah, we're seeing more people tap into the value of their home to do their improvements and renovations to, as people are more frequently working from home, they have that, they want to upgrade their house that they're in currently too. So first time mortgage, we can do all of them, and take it from there.
People's champ.
The people's champ.
Terry, anything from you as far as kind of the closing remarks?
Well, I just upkeep your pool, keep it attractive, and it's always a good value.
Scott, anything else?
Patience.
Patience.
Just be patient. I mean, it's a crazy market right now, from shortages, price increases, and we didn't even touch on the labor shortage that's really affecting our industry right now. Whether it be just your weekly service route, mechanical repairs, or construction and remodel. Subcontractors, people are becoming less specialized. Really do your homework. Make sure you're working with a licensed contractor, not just a general contractor, but a licensed pool contractor. We've got an influx of so-called pool contractors coming from other areas throughout the United States, because this is where it's hot right now to build a pool, and a lot of them are not don't have the licenses and certifications that they're supposed to have to be doing this. So, just be patient, do your homework, understand the market, and call us.
All right. Be safe, Florida. You're not Florida. Jeez, redo that one. Be safe. It's Water Safety Month in the month of May, and call Surfside. Let them help you float happy. Better Homes and Gardens. As always, First Down Mortgage. Thanks for watching.